Captain Midnight.
Huh. Well, this was unexpected. For those that haven't heard, it looks like the producer of the Netflix Castlevania show has announced that he's working on an Assassin's Creed anime series. That caught me off guard, because after the failure of the big budget movie recently, I figured that Ubisoft would have given up on adaptations of the series. But, for better or worse, it looks like they're going to give it another try. And with this new attempt to being a show, not a standalone movie that's expected to do blockbuster box office numbers and please a worldwide audience, which usually results in a bland movie, and that's exactly what we got, I think there's at least a chance that this show could actually experiment and try to be a bit more unique. So with that in mind, here are my suggestions of how to do an Assassin's Creed series that I'd like to watch. Oh, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Number 3. Stop sucking, Ubisoft. Okay, that probably sounds harsh. I don't hate Ubisoft. In fact, I'm a big fan of a lot of games they've put out, but they haven't exactly been subtle in their attempts to drain every last cent of profit from their franchises. And this extends to adaptations of their work, too. Remember when one of the company's European leaders basically admitted that they didn't care if the movie was a success or not, calling it, quote, a lot more of a marketing thing. It is also good for the image of the brand. Although we will make some money, it's not the purpose of this movie. The purpose is to bring Assassin's Creed to more people who, maybe, will then pick up future Assassin's Creed games. They later backtracked from this statement, but the message was clear. The company wasn't in this to make Assassin's Creed, the film, a great movie. They were just interested in using it as additional marketing for their already colossal brand. And I'm not saying that's the most evil, dastardly plan in the world or anything, but it's also not a good way to produce a quality piece of entertainment. My hope is that they've learned their lesson from the film's failure, and are going into this project because the creators of the new show have an actual vision for Assassin's Creed, not just because they want another brand extension. And let's just say, if this show is set in Egypt and premiering around the same time as the new game comes out, which is also, set in Egypt, I'm gonna be pretty suspicious that the show isn't just one big marketing ploy. So please, Ubisoft, prove me wrong on this one. Number 2. Deep dive into history. Okay, I almost didn't include this one, because I've already talked about my love for anthology shows on so many of my videos. But, I'm going to anyway. As a wannabe historian, and by that I mean a guy who listens to every Dan Carlin podcast and watches too many documentaries about old castles on Netflix, I've always appreciated the Assassin's Creed series' incredible renderings of history. Like, remember Syndicate? I don't think that's anyone's favorite game in the series or anything. I mean, it didn't exactly break any new ground, but just the chance to explore such a detailed version of Victorian London was enough for me to sink hours into it. And I think it's that opportunity to parkour your way through history that has players coming back year after year. And I would love for the anime series to emulate that. And maybe the best way to do it is to set each season in a completely new time period and around totally different assassins. Like, okay, I'm about to get very comic booky, but bear with me for a second. Imagine the first season being about Altair, the second Ezio, the third, whoever the hoodie dude was in that one, and then bring them all together, Avengers style, in the final season. Now, maybe that's a terrible idea. I'll leave that up to you. But I do think that having the show set in multiple time periods and presenting those periods well with the detail and respect that the games always have is very important when trying to recapture what makes people like the games in the first place. Also, I just want to see 15th century Florence again. Number 1. Let's figure out this mythology. So it feels a little strange that I've made it this far into the video without mentioning the Animus once, right? Well, there's a reason for that. I have no idea what to do with that thing. And to be honest, I'm not sure that everyone working on the Assassin's Creed games always do either. The Animus and the whole concept of jumping into the minds of your ancestors seemed really cool to me when I first played the first game back in 2007. I was all on board. But as the sequels, spin-offs, and handheld games have just continued to roll out, it often feels like the developers have totally lost the thread. I'm sure that if I had a couple of hardcore fans here right now, they could break out a few flowcharts and break down exactly what's going on in the overarching plot of the series. But to me, and I'm guessing many other casual fans, I gave up on that stuff a long time ago. And it's been showing up in the games less and less too. It seems like what most people want is to ignore that stuff and cut straight to the historical setting. Myself included. But here's the thing. I don't think the show should drop the Animus. In fact, I think it should embrace it. The Animus, as a mind-bending sci-fi idea, is perfect for an anime series. And despite being sick of it in the games, I still think it remains a really cool concept. But how the writers approach it is what will make all the difference. Where the games are made by multiple teams, coordinating an ever more convoluted mythology, with the story itself tending to take a backseat to the gameplay, the anime has a chance to work with a blank slate, and to repurpose the mythology however they see fit. To me, that's an exciting idea, because we may finally get the heady and interesting exploration of the Animus as a concept that I wanted all the way back in 2007, and which the subsequent games and even movie have failed to give us. Is that too much to hope for? Maybe. But I think that for as many Assassin's Creed games that they've made, there's still a lot to explore there from a story perspective, hiding just under the surface of all that slick gameplay. And there's a chance that this series could finally bring that to the forefront. Oh, and also someone should jump into a Cardafe.
Here's a special tip for the fellas and girls who have not already joined Captain Midnight's new 1940 Flight Patrol. You'd better hurry up and join at once, because there's a big adventure ahead. The thing to do now is to get started, because we're going to have not only barrels of fun, but loads of free gifts and prizes.